Today we're going to talk about wealthy men, and this is something that I've never really discussed, but we've had, well, when I say discuss, this is something that I don't think I've explored this topic on Patreon or YouTube or whatnot. But the question is, are wealthy men controlling? Are they abusive? If you marry a wealthy guy, is he going to control you? Is he going to financially abuse you? Blah, blah, yada, yada. All right? So I am here to put that myth to rest once and for all, because I am sick and tired of it. I'm going to make this as brief as possible. But one thing I want people to understand, and I want people to research, not one thing, a few things. I want you to research the dark triads. If you've never researched it, go ahead and do that. I want you to also research narcissism and psychopathy. You need to research these two topics, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if an abusive man is wealthy or not. The fact of the matter is, it does not matter what his tax bracket is, what's in his bank account, and that man is going to abuse you regardless. I want to get this straight, because I do not know why people think that, poor men are so pious and they're not going to abuse you or anything like that. And we know that is not true, because if you've dated a broke man before, a lot of them can be terrible. Not all, but a lot of them. And I believe that a man who is broke that wants to date you and want to be in a relationship with you, I believe that he is not a good person, because if he was a good person, he will have his shit together before he even considers dating you. Also, a man that is wealthy, that wants to control you, wants to abuse you, that is not a normal person. That's not a normal man. Okay? That is what you would call a narcissist or a psychopath. Because at the end of the day, if you understand these personality disorders, you would know that all narcissists and all psychopaths are abusive. You can't get away from that. It's just a narcissistic guy with money. That's basically what it is. So how can you avoid becoming a victim or being controlled or abused by a wealthy man? First of all, you have to know yourself. You really have to know who you are. Because if you do not know who you are, it's very easy for you to get entangled with this type of personality. Secondly, you have to know how to assert boundaries. Because if we're dealing with rich men, regardless if they're narcissists or not, these men didn't become rich by being a pushover or a wallflower or a walking mat. That's not how they became wealthy. They became wealthy by testing people, getting away with as much as they can, going after what they want. That's how they became wealthy. So these men are most likely not pushovers at all. So at the end of the day, if you're the type of person that is weak-minded, maybe you're dating out of desperation, or whatever the issue is, it's very easy for you to get caught up and end up in an abusive situation. And then when you realize that you are in an abusive situation, then at that point it's already too late. Narcissistic men, sociopathic men, psychotic men, they will control you, and they will financially abuse you or even physically abuse you. All right? So how do you not get caught up in a situation like this? Again, this is one of the reasons why I always tell women to get your own money, get your own bag. Because if you're an adult and you are 100% dependent on someone, you are irresponsible. That is being irresponsible, because you are not a minor. You're not a child. You are an adult. And you are the only person that is responsible for getting your act together. Okay? So if you are 100% dependent on someone, then that's all on you. Now, how would a narcissist who is a millionaire or maybe even a billionaire, how would he abuse you or control you? But first things first, he is going to make you 100% dependent on him. Nothing is going to be on your name. No credit cards are going to be on your name. You're not going to have a debit card or nothing. You may not even have access to any of his accounts. And trust and believe that if he's a narcissist, he's also doing this to his business partners. He's probably, putting away money or hiding money from his business partners, etc. This is what narcissists do. They are terrible with money, or they care about this money, and they use money to control people. And if he's a narcissist, the rich guy or the wealthy guy that he's going to make you 100% dependent on him. So if you've ever seen a girl that was dating a guy that was wealthy and, you know, she was living the high life, she had everything, you know, she had the car, the designer bags, the clothes, everything. And then after they break up, she's left with nothing. Let me know if you've seen this happen, because I mean, we've all seen it. This is a situation that I'm talking about, and this is probably the situation that people are probably trying to warn you about, because at the end of the day, a lot of people will tell you that, you know, oh, you're trying to date wealthy men, they're going to, you know, control you and blah 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 and take advantage of you, blah blah blah. These are the type of men that they're warning you against. On the flip side, a narcissist that's broke, he is not going to you're not going to be dependent on him. He's going to be dependent on you financially. So he's going to want to have access to your accounts. A narcissist will ruin your financial credit, everything. He's going to ruin you. He's going to make you take out loans. He's going to make you buy expensive things. He's going to be spending money like crazy. But God forbid you take $5 and buy something with that. Like, God forbid you spend like $5, because they're going to make you feel really, really terrible just for spending money. So it's not uncommon for a millionaire who is a narcissist to be very stingy. So he's the type of person that will have a lot of money, and then he will probably give you like $200. Like, you will always have to be begging him for money, you know, tap dancing for that money. He has made you completely dependent on him, because he told you, oh, you know, you should quit your job, I'll take care of you. You should quit your job and move in with me, I'll take care of you. God forbid I tip the nail tech. Like, God forbid you spend money or be generous with money or anything like that. They are the only ones that is allowed to be free with money and be reckless with money, and they're the only ones that are allowed to spend money on expensive things for themselves, okay? And they're going to be like super generous in public, but in private they are very stingy, because that money is their money. And why do you want my money? Like, oh my God, I already gave you $200 yesterday. Like, what do you need more money for? Like, oh my God, didn't you go to the grocery yesterday? Like, oh my God, didn't you buy a pair of shoes last week? Like, what do you need another pair for? This is what you're going to be hearing when you're dealing with a wealthy man who is controlling you with money, because a lot of the times they will financially abuse you, and financial abuse is when they make you completely dependent on them. So if a man is telling you that you should quit your job, quit school, you don't need to finish university, I'll take care of you, or no, don't worry about a career. Like, you don't need a career because, you know, you're a beautiful woman, I got money, I'll take care of you. If that man is doing that, you run. He is trying to control you. If he wants you to uproot your life and move in with him, he is trying to control you. And this is the reason why I tell you, ladies, that you need to get your own back. Because when you break up with a narcissist that is financially abusing you, like, first of all, you will have nothing, because he will see to it that nothing is on your name. He is going to make sure that you cannot make money. So if you want to start a business or something like that, he's going to be like, oh, what do you want to waste money for? That's a terrible business idea. He wouldn't want you know, to invest in your business. If he does invest in your business, he's going to be doing it begrudgingly, and then he would want you to fail. Like, he will really want you to fail. And if the business fail, he's going to be like, see, I told you, blah blah blah. So he's going to make sure that you are incapable of making your own money. You cannot leave, okay? And this is the reason why when, you know, these sugar daddies, these narcissistic sugar daddies discard a sugar baby, this is why she has nothing to show for that relationship, okay? This is the reason why, in case you were ever wondering why that is, because, you know, the narcissist is very image conscious. So he's going to make sure that you're spending money on the bullshit, like the designer bags, and going to the events, and going on the trips, and getting your hair and your nails done, because that's all tied into his image. If you want to go back to school, or you want to start a business, or you want to do something that is going to help elevate you, he's going to discourage it. Like, he will literally tell you that he doesn't have any money, or he will tell you that, oh, he doesn't want to, you know, basically he wouldn't want to pay for it. But then he'll turn around and book a 5-star vacation. This is more common than you think it is. This is not a rich man issue. This is a narcissistic issue. I want to dispel the myth that, like, you know, the wealthy guy is going to abuse you, control you. I want to dispel that myth, because at the end of the day, you are just dealing with a narcissistic abuser with money. That's it. That's what you're dealing with. You know, and obviously not all wealthy men are like this. Please, I mean, look how easy, look how easy Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Bezos divorce was. Aside from the text being leaked, because I believe that Mackenzie knew about the relationship that he had with Lauren long before those texts went out, but there was no drama. You didn't hear anything about the divorce being really nasty, and it was being dragged out into the courts or nothing. He gave that woman the money that she deserved. Did you all notice that? So when you're looking at these wealthy couples, because they're always in the news, okay, and they get in a divorce, and the divorce is super nasty, and it's just horrible, and they're fighting each other at the end of the day, he does not want to give you any money. Like a narcissist will make sure that if he's ready to discard you, like you're gonna get a divorce or something like that, he's gonna do everything in his power to make sure that you end up with nothing. A normal guy is going to try to be fair with you and try to give you what you're asking for. And I hope that you will understand it. So I mean, did you guys hear anything about Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Bezos' divorce? Like, did you hear anything crazy? I did not. Let me know in the comments. So this is how you know that. This is how I know that Jeff Bezos seemed to be a pretty normal guy mentally. Okay. Because that divorce was one of the quickest and easiest divorce I've ever seen. Mackenzie walked away with that $500 million. I can't remember how much it was. I think it was close to $500 million. She walked away with that money without the drama, without a long drawn out process in court fighting each other. Nothing. He gave her money and they parted ways and they moved on. And when I see that, okay, pay attention to how, especially if he's been divorced, pay attention to how that divorce went. Like, go back and do some background checks or something like that, because a lot of that is probably public records. I mean, you can find those records in the courts or whatnot, and just pay attention to how that divorce went. If it was a nasty divorce, most likely you are dealing with a nasty. Another thing that I wanted to say, if a man is wealthy, okay, and he puts his hand on you, then that man doesn't seem to have a lot to lose, because usually the control and the abuse that people talk about when it comes to these wealthy couples, or like these women that are in relationship with these these millionaires, it's usually verbal, emotional, what's the other one, and financial abuse going on. That is more likely to happen if the guy came from poverty, or I don't know, maybe middle class or something. But at the end of the day, stop listening to these people and stop perpetuating the narrative that wealthy men are abusive and they're gonna abuse you and control you and blah blah blah. Like, stop perpetuating that stuff. Another thing that people bring up also is that these wealthy men have these weird fetishes and they're gonna have you doing crazy things in the bedroom. Now let's talk about that. Okay, there are so many cases of broke men doing that to women. So obviously when you hear about this stuff, you think about the situation with Cassie and PDD. And if you all heard anything about that, it's insane. Like, I didn't listen. I did a little bit of research, and what I heard was pretty bad. If you're dealing with someone that's a psychopath, of course they're going to have this weird, crazy fetish, because regular sex will never do it for them. Okay? Because sex to them is not something that they use to connect with people. Okay, sex is how they control people. The brokest men have so many freaky demands. Girl, listen, at the end of the day, what you have to understand, ladies, if you have to understand, and men talk about this all the time. They talk about women being the gatekeepers of sex. Now what does that really mean for you as a woman? Like, I don't care what it means to a man. What does it mean for you? It means that when sex happens, it should happen on your terms, period. So since you're the gatekeeper of sex, sex should only happen on your term. If you're dealing with someone that expects you to have sex with them every single day, there was a video floating around of, I think it's a reality star or something like that, where she talked about having to have sex every single day in her marriage, every single day. And when she said every single day, I'm assuming that she did it while she was on her period. And if he gets angry and shows a tantrum when you say no, then that's a problem. You are not dealing with a regular person. You're not dealing with a normal person. You are dealing with a psychopath. I'm going to try to wrap this up because I wanted to stay brief on this, and I'm going to allow you guys to ask some questions. So if you have a question, make sure you every day know. Yes, Terry, every day. If I find that clip, I'll probably maybe post it or something like that, or maybe if I find it on Facebook, I'll tag you guys. But she was required to have sex every single day. If a man requires you to have sex every single day, that's a red flag. That is insane. You are dealing with an abuser. You're being abused. Because best believe, if you're dealing with somebody with this personality disorder, best believe you are going to be abused sexually. I could never. Where's the seduction or fun? Yeah. There's no seduction. Like, you just have to put up with it. Okay? If he wants you to have sex with other men and he watch, you know, you have to do it. So this is what they talk about when they talk about these wealthy men controlling you. If you ever, you know, look up or heard about that weird story that come out of Dubai, you know, about the Dubai porta potties. People talk about the girls and they judge the girls, but nobody is judging the psychopaths. Normal people do not have those sexual desire, those type of sexual desires. That shit is not normal. As a matter of fact, I believe that shit is demonic. What it comes down to is a man character. Money just exemplifies character, and that's why there's a stigma behind wealthy men, while brokies look safe because their mess is not as exemplified. Yes, absolutely. A lot of wealthy men are very high on the narcissistic spectrum, unfortunately. So you really have to vet this person properly. You cannot be broke and you cannot be desperate when you're dating this person, because predators, this is why you attract the worst type of men when you're desperate and when you're at a low point in your life. Because the predators, they are predators. These people are the apex predators. They can smell that desperation, okay? They know that, you know, there's something wrong with you. So if you're doing well, you know, you're comfortable, you're confident, you're not worried about, you know, money, you're not worried about getting evicted and all that ghetto ass shit. You shouldn't have issues attracting decent men. Because a lot of decent men with high empathy, some of these men are also wealthy. So at the end of the day, not every wealthy man is going to abuse you and, you know, try to destroy you or anything like that. But this is one of the reasons why, for a lot of women that end up in these situations, this is why it's so difficult for them to leave. Because not only are they controlling the money, because like I said earlier, you're not going to have anything on your name. If you're dealing with a man who is taking care of you right now and there's nothing on your name, nothing, nada, you need to start planning your exit strategy right now. Because the longer you stay in that situation, the worse it's going to be for you when you finally exit the relationship or when he gets tired of you and discards you. This is why a lot of women cannot leave. They have no financial independence whatsoever. They don't even have a credit card on their name. And if you're married to him, best believe that he's hiding money somewhere. Money that you will never know about, or money that you will never touch. Best believe that I am better able to get men. I am better able to get men. I listen how they speak to me and his actions. Yeah. That is very good, because when you are in a good place, you know, you can pick up when, you know, something is off with someone, you know, with the way they interact with you. When you're desperate, you will never see it with the red flags. All you're worried about is like, oh my God, I'm getting this guy to pay my bills because these bills are too much. Baby, if your bills are too much, I don't know, have less bills or make more money, or swallow your pride and move back home. I do not know what to tell you, but at the end of the day, if you're an adult, you should not be in this situation. You should not be financially dependent on anyone. The quickest way to be controlled and taken advantage of is when you allow yourself to be 100% financially dependent on someone. And as an adult, being financially dependent on someone is financially irresponsible. When we did the book series on hiding money from your husband, we talked about this. Okay, it's on the Patreon right now for anyone that care to listen. Exactly, women need to make better financial choices for their lives. So yeah, so anyways, if you're dealing with, you know, one of these malignant narcissists or a psychopath, don't be surprised that he has like this weird fetish. I think there was a story about, I can't remember the person's name, but she was dating this guy and he used to let her watch when he would beat women. Like he would literally, that's how he got off. They will get into a room and they will be, you know, the women will believe that they're gonna have sex with this guy, and sometimes the women will be sex workers, and he will beat these women, and she would watch. And then guess what? Eventually he started beating on her too. And she was with that man for years. And by the time they broke up, she had nothing to her name. I can't remember what her name. What was the last thing I said before I got interrupted? Oh yes, I was sharing that story. If I find that story, I'll share it. I mean, I don't really like to share those stories, But at the end of the day, like, you know, when you hear these kind of stories and they have like this weird fetish and they are into BDSM and that type of weird shit. You know, the BDSM when he's the one that is beating up on you. Like that weird type of shit. Don't be surprised that they have that type of, you know, those type of sexual demands. So a lot of women are putting up with a lot of shit. But with these abusive men. But at the end of the day, it's not because they're wealthy. That's just who they are. And nobody ever wants to talk about how so many, you know, domestic, you know, violence situations. Nobody wants to talk about how the majority of people that are in these situations are broke people. Nobody wants to talk about how there are men out here that are ruining your credit, because that's another form of financial abuse. Taking advantage of you, spending all your money, eating up all your food. Nobody's talking about that stuff, because at the end of the day, if you have someone like that in your life, that's a parasite. Because narcissists and, you know, these psychopaths, they are parasites. They are going to, by the time they're done with you, you are basically going to be an empty shell of your former self. So please, let's stop perpetuating this myth that wealthy men are controlling and abusive. Like, please, let's stop that BS, please. So if you believe that, if that is your belief, ask yourself, why do you believe that? Because why do you believe that, you know, wealthy men are like this? Why do you believe this? Because you were probably brainwashed by broke people, or maybe you watch movies where, you know, the wealthy person was the villain. Maybe that, you know, program you. But you have to understand that just because somebody has money, that doesn't mean that they're going to be a creep and they're going to prey on you. Also, men that get women pregnant at their height of their careers. Yes, that's another form of sabotage. Okay, because I don't want to use the, you know, the abuse word too much, because I already said it too many times. It's mostly low value men. Yeah, if I cannot post this on YouTube, I'll probably try to post it on Patreon. Yeah, it's most likely low value men. Okay, because at one point in time, I felt like that was true. Yeah, but it's not. So does anyone have any question? Any questions? You know, I just want us to change our mindset, you know. If you have this mindset that, you know, if you have that mindset that, you know, wealthy people are evil, blah, 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 then why are you in this community? Why are you in a level of community? What's the best way to prepare for 2024? That's a good question. It depends on where you are on your journey, okay? I do not know if you on my Patreon, because I will be having a meeting on the Patreon where we're going to be talking about all of that stuff. You know, our expectations, our goals for 2024. So, but it depends on where you are on your journey. But, you know, generally speaking, the best way to prepare for 2024, just leave the things that are keeping you back. Leave it behind in 2023. Anything that doesn't have anything to do with your goals, just leave it. Leave it behind. If it's not bringing you joy and fulfillment, and it doesn't align with your goal, leave it alone. That's the best advice I can give you. Any more questions? How to reprogram my mind? You can, if you want, you can book a consultation with me, or because I know I have videos about this on Patreon. Okay, join the Patreon if you're not a member. Okay, go to the link in my bio right here and sign up to the Patreon. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, the link will be in the description. Okay, but the quickest answer is by repetition. I talked about this before. The quickest is repetition. Start listening to things that you want, that aligns with your goal. Start watching things like consuming media. Start having conversations that align with your goal, and start saying affirmations that will that align with your goal. Okay, so repetition. That's the quickest way. Okay, but you know, there are other ways, like, you know, inner work or whatnot, and I don't want to go into it right now because we're going to be here forever. Because that question is not just I can't give you a simple answer, but you can message me personally if you would like to book a consultation, and I can help you, you know, with whatever issues you have, and I'll help you, you know, achieve your goals. All right, ladies, so I'm going to end the live here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.